If you've ever been told that you're too sensitive, or if you've ever felt like you're absorbing everyone else's emotions but losing yourself in the process, then chances are you are an empath. But being an empath doesn't have to be debilitating. It doesn't have to stress you out. And your sensitivity can become your superpower. So, if you're feeling weakened or not feeling very strong in your vulnerability and in your ability to be empathetic to others' needs and feelings, then this podcast episode is definitely for you. Keep listening. So, becoming an empowered empath means basically you learning to embrace your sensitivity while also at the same time setting boundaries, protecting your energy, and also using your gift with confidence rather than feeling drained or overwhelmed. So, I'm going to go over some key steps for you to achieve this balance. Number one, you are going to own your sensitivity as a strength. Don't look at it as something that is like a weakness, and don't let anyone else make you feel like it's a weakness. So what? You are sensitive. That means you have feelings and you are emotionally intelligent and you understand your feelings. And when anyone tries to say to you oh, you're so sensitive, whenever you set a boundary or stand up for yourself, or if you cry about something, anytime anyone tries to make you feel wrong or feel like you're too sensitive, look at them with strength, or not if you don't have the strength, but look at them and tell them, you know what, you're right, I am sensitive and you're being very insensitive. Just because I stated I don't like something or that I want to set a boundary doesn't mean I'm being sensitive. Basically, if you want to get even more, I guess, radical with them and kind of put a little razzle dazzle on this, you can even point out to them how they're basically just feeling attacked because they lack the capacity and ability to be emotionally intelligent and to honor and care about someone else's feelings than their own. And they probably don't even know how to care about their own feelings. They probably don't even feel their own feelings. And you do. And so if anyone tells you that you're too sensitive, now you know that you cannot really have the type of relationship you would like with that person because they are unable to meet you where you are. They are unable to hold space for you. They are unable to be as emotionally intelligent as you. And so I'll need you to recognize that being an empath is a gift. It's not a burden. It is your ability to deeply understand others, and that is powerful. But you will have to shift your mindset from I absorb everything to I choose what I take in. And what that means is that, yes, you can understand everyone, understand why they are the way they are. Hell, you can even understand why the person that calls you too sensitive all the time does. But that doesn't mean you have to absorb it. You can observe it as well. And it means you can use that to your advantage. Now that you know all about that person, now that you know how they operate, now that you know their why they are so insensitive or why they treat you the way they do, you can understand and be so empathetic to all of that, but still choose not to absorb it or accept it. So for me, I use it to my advantage to kind of I guess you would say hone in on people, or to read their auras, or like they say, read in the room. I know how to read people because I am empathetic. I am an empath. I am sensitive. I'm sensitive to other people's bullshit and I can pick up on it. And so if you're going to pick up on it, then you can just basically decide, okay, I see how they are and I'm going to have to keep my distance because I'm picking up some things from them. You're observing it. You get it? So it's now become your superpower. Number two, Master emotional and energetic boundaries. And the first step to doing this is learning to distinguish between your emotions and those of others. Meaning you cannot take on how others feel and absorb it so much to that you start feeling and believe that's how you should feel. And in doing this, you also need to learn how to set firm boundaries with people that drain you. And in order for you to set boundaries with people who drain you, you are going to have to basically tune into yourself and how that person is making you feel. I feel like sometimes we forget, or not forget, I feel like sometimes we don't really realize that someone is draining us because maybe they've been in our lives for a long time. Maybe they're family. Maybe they're a close friend. Maybe they're someone we really care about. So sometimes we don't pick up that person is draining us, and or we start to feel like, maybe it's us. Maybe, I need to be a little more this or that for them. You don't really understand the feeling or the emotion. So what you do is every time you come from around someone, notice how it's making you feel in your body. And if you are feeling drained, or if you are afraid to pick up the phone when they call because you feel like they're going to want something, or if you are afraid to even be honest with them about your availability or your time because they're going to say, well, can you do this for me or do this for me? If you are noticing yourself doing these things, that person is draining you. And even if it's a family member, someone you care about, they're draining you. You have the right to set a boundary with them. And they may not like it, especially if they've always depended on you. They may not like that at all. But you are not wrong to set the boundary because of your mental health, because of it draining you, Don't feel so guilty for saying no or distancing yourself from anything that drains you or any type of negativity. You're not wrong to do so. Because those people who are draining you are going to make your empathetic abilities like something that's daunting, or something that's hard on you, or something that's draining, or it's going to make you feel less empowered, because you are so open and willing to help, and because you care so deeply, you feel so deeply for them. You're an empath, but they are going to drain you and make you feel disempowered. So the key to feeling like the key to being an empowered empath is to set the boundaries, girl. You got to set the boundaries, girlfriend. You got to speak up for yourself and protect yourself. Okay? Number 3. I feel like when you are an empath, it is important to develop strong self-care rituals. And it's because we need that alone time to recharge. I don't know about you, but certain people drain me. Being around social settings can be draining for me. I'm an empath myself, and I pick up on things, feel things, and sometimes those people make me feel things, Sometimes I'm not really an anxious person or a nervous person or anything like that, but being around certain people that can kind of like put it on me, because I'm absorbing it and I'm being empathetic to how they feel, and so I'm feeling it, and it can be draining, and you probably don't even realize that's happening sometimes. You probably just think that you are such an anxious person, or you are this type of person. You are nervous all the time. You are whatever everyone else around you is. You start to kind of feel like that because you are feeling it from them. But when you are alone, I need you to have very, very strong self-care rituals. Like you have to prioritize your alone time, and meditation can help, breath work or nature walks, something like that. Something that you enjoy, I would say. If you don't enjoy meditation or doing breath work, I do breath work sometimes and it calms me down. Like where you take the real deep breaths. I can't remember what it's called, but where you breathe you breathe in with your stomach out. Make sure your stomach is actually going out, not in. Because sometimes when you breathe in, you're breathing your stomach in, but you have to like breathe in and let your stomach expand and let your lungs fill up with air, and then slowly release it through like pursed lips. That works phenomenally. Like, don't sleep on the breath work, but you have to do it right. And I think sometimes people are not doing that right. Meditation, if you like that, If you like to go for walks, I like to be outside sometimes, but I'll be honest, it's been cold, not lately. The sun has to be shining. It just depends. So I like to read, so I'll do that. Anything to take my mind off of people and their mess, and just focus in on me. And so all of that can really help. You just have to really, really like dive into you and remember who you are. Like, if you've gone around some people and you notice yourself feeling a little anxious, they can be good people, not people that, people that you love, like whoever it is. It doesn't have to be people that actually meant you harm, or they had bad intentions. I'm not trying to critique the people that you've been around, but when you come from around them, I need you to notice how you're feeling from that. And however you're feeling, that's when it's time for you to take in and do your self-care. And also journaling can help. Or like me, I like to talk to my voice memo about something that I'm feeling, and I end up finding out that this is why I'm feeling this way after this gathering, or these thoughts that I have. So if you don't like to write it out, you can do the voice memo where you like talking yourself through it, or go listen to a podcast, my podcast, or anyone's podcast, or journal, or even I do offer one-on-one coaching, and I do the text-based coaching that a lot of girlies love, because they're able to like immediately write something out to me, and then I can read and respond to it, and we like go through it that way. Like, you're almost like I'm your own little journal entry. So that can help. Number 4, this is a tough one, but it must be done. You're going to have to stop people pleasing and heal your codependency. Oftentimes I find that we will people please or be codependent because we don't really know our own self-worth. And so what happens then is that your value is now tied to how much you can do for others. And so therefore, since you're not very sure of your worth or where you can stand with people, or you're not sure that you can even be loved for who you are going to find yourself overdoing it for people, overextending yourself, just so that you can feel like you belong or you're accepted or someone loves you and wants to be around you. But you don't have to do that. Once you work on your self-worth and know that you are worth much more than what you can do for someone, you will find yourself not overextending yourself. Or sadly, sometimes what happens is that we'll get so burnt out from doing stuff for people that don't appreciate it, or people that just walk all over us. We'll get so tired of that and so burnt out from doing everything for everyone else that we have no choice but to like come into ourselves and then start to recognize our own self-worth, and then start setting the boundaries and no longer people pleasing. And for people pleasing, that usually comes from you being afraid of saying no to people, or you being afraid of choosing yourself with people because you're afraid of their reaction. You just want to be seen as like a nice, good person, and you don't want to like rock the boat, so to speak, because that's scary for you. So being a people pleaser has become like something that's safe for you. But you have to realize that now that you are an adult, you no longer need the people pleasing tendencies that you've done. And I think sometimes it's hard for us to break out of that because it has been something that our nervous system has relied on for safety. Because think about it, like when you were a kid, just where you probably picked up your people pleasing tendencies. And so as a child, you can't speak up for yourself. You can't demand to be treated with respect. You can't say no. You have to do whatever the parent tells you to do or the caregiver tells you to do. And so, especially if that parent or caregiver is like, I guess I would say if they love you conditionally. And I feel like a lot of our parents did not mean to love us in that way. It's just the way that it transpired for us, or the way it materialized for us, And if you had a parent that basically only praised you when you did something well, or only showed you any type of love or validation when you did something well, that turned on your people pleasing. That made you feel like, okay, this is the way that I am going to get a good reaction and a good response out of my parent. I have to do good, be good. I have to be perfect. And so now that's triggered something in you, and you think that that's the way that you have to show up in order to be received well, in order to be perceived well, in order to be loved, in order to, feel safe. And now as an adult, you're still doing that because it's something that's been conditioned in you. But what I want you to recognize and realize now that you are an adult, you no longer have to people please. You no longer have to be liked by anyone. You are now out in the world, and there are a lot of people in the world that will like you. And you have not even met all the people that are going to like you. You don't have to people please any of them. You can tell them where to get off and get on it if you find them trying to trample over your boundaries or show you disrespect or asking too much of you or asking you to overextend yourself. You don't have to do it. It's more so you recognizing that they are the problem, not you, and you don't have to people please them to be more palatable to them. You don't. And so once you recognize that you can let people go and that it's not abandonment or it's not the end of the world and that there are other people that will love you for you, then you will not people please so much anymore because you realize that you don't have to. If it may be nerve wracking at first, or it may be scary at first to say no or to not people please because it's something that you're just so used to doing. But once you practice it, you will get better at it. Once you practice it, you will realize it's not so scary. And you will realize that it is strength in doing that. And you will feel better about yourself. And your self-worth will improve because you are standing up for yourself. And my thing is, if someone does not like that or someone is offended by that, then that person was not about you. That person wasn't going to like you anyway. They just wanted to take advantage of you. Simple as that. And you're not wrong for setting a boundary with someone that was trying to attempt to either manipulate you or take advantage of you. Okay? Number 5, strengthen your intuition and discernment. And something that I've realized that has helped me with this is being more stubborn, quote unquote, about things. I've been called stubborn my whole life. As I've gotten older, I realize it's not stubbornness. It's me listening to me. It's me listening to my intuition. It's me trusting how I feel. It's me trusting what I need. It's me trusting that I know what's best for me. It's not stubbornness. It seems like that to other people that would maybe want me to have an idea that they have or go along with them or go along with their plan or do what they think I should do. It may seem stubborn to them because I know my own way and I'm going to honor myself. And I always have. I've always wanted to do what feels right with me. And so some of you may have lost this along the way. So let me help you a little bit with getting that back. So first off, always trust your gut feelings about people and situations. Always. Whatever little feeling you get, if it's a calm feeling, like anxiousness is when you feel scared about something. Intuition is more calm. So if you feel like, I don't know about that, I don't like how they did that, that's it. That's your intuition. But if you're feeling kind of ballistic and you're like, but what? And your mind is going on the loop. What if this and this and this and this and that and that? And you're starting to catastrophize. Then that is your anxiety. That is not your intuition. A lot of times we think that, we may not know the difference between intuition and anxiety. Intuition is going to be a calm, either yes or no, or calm this is right. This is the right way. But that anxiety, you will feel anxious. I'll put it that way. You will feel kind of all over the place. You will start to overthink. You will start to feel how can I describe it? It's just frazzled almost. But no. That little frazzled you get, that where you feel like you are literally shaking. So that is your anxiety taking over. I need you to calm that down. Use your higher self and use your intuition to get you through that. Once you calm down, you will hear a very calm yes or no. I promise you. And so also what helps is you tuning into what feels right for you before you make a decision. And strongly on what feels right for you. It doesn't matter what you think you should do or what someone else think you should do. It's what feels right for you. And I'm going to tell you something else. You may feel like it feels right for you in that moment. And what if it ends up being a mistake? Or what if it ends up being the wrong idea? And what if it ends up being that they were right, you should have went the way that they said? That doesn't matter. If anything, that was still your mistake to make. That was still your mistake to learn from. That was still something for you to grow and have and develop character. It still was the right decision for you, even if it didn't quite lead you to where you thought it was going to, even if it was a mistake. It's okay. I think sometimes we are afraid to listen to our intuition because we are afraid of being wrong. But baby, you are never wrong when you listen to your intuition. Whatever you get, it was meant for you in some way, shape, or form. You have got to believe that. This is how you're going to strengthen your discernment. This is how you are going to pay attention to your intuition and tune in more to yourself and what it is you're feeling and thinking. This is how you're going to empower yourself as an empath, because you're not only an empath to others, you're also an empath to you. Number 6, use your gift with more intention. And so for this, it's almost like instead of you being overwhelmed by emotions, you're going to learn to channel them into creativity, maybe healing work, or maybe even advocacy. Because to do those things, it is important for you to be empathetic to others and even be empathetic to yourself. Like, for example, for me, I feel like I was empathetic to my toxic exes. If you all know about Toxic X Chronicles John, I'm working on Toxic X Chronicles Sebastian currently, and I'm working on another book as well. They'll be out this year. Just want to throw that out there. But as you know, if you read Toxic X Chronicles John, you know the shit that I put up with. And so what I've decided to do is turn my ability to understand people and understand what they feel and be empathetic to what they feel and know about them. Like, I knew about my ex's past and I was so empathetic, sometimes too empathetic, too compassionate towards them. I decided to turn that into something more worthwhile with way more intention. And that's to help you all. That's what birthed it. I've Been That Girl, and me doing the Hey Girlfriend podcast and me writing the books that I write. It's like, instead of me trying to go and force my empath abilities on toxic men, let me pour it into something where I can really help someone else. Now, I'm not saying you got to start a podcast or start you a page and be seen and be all of that, but maybe instead do some advocacy work. Or choose a career where you have to advocate for others or feel for others. Something that's going to bring you joy in being an empath, you know? That can really help, because it's also helping you to choose when and how you engage with others' emotions instead of being a sponge. And number 7, last but not least, you are going to surround yourself with empowered energy. That means you are going to limit your exposure to toxic or manipulative people. And that can go for the people I told you at the beginning that call you too sensitive whenever you speak up for yourself or advocate for yourself or set a boundary with someone, and they just kind of throw shots at you and get upset at you instead of honoring you. Yeah, those are toxic and manipulative people. That could be your family, even some friends. If you have friends like that, they may not be the best friends for you to go to for things like that. Even if you may have family like that, associates, whoever. Don't surround yourself with people like that. Limit your exposure to people like that, because they're going to drain you. And also, you are going to seek relationships where there is mutual support and respect. People that actually respect how you feel, that don't drain you. People that actually love you for you without you having to do anything for them. You're going to go where you are loved. Okay? And then finding a community with people that are like you, that can uplift you. That will really, really help. Like, my circle of friends that I have, is the best community that I've had. I've had these friends for like decades, and we've all grown together and gone through things together. We understand each other. We uplift each other. We don't ever shoot each other down. We have mutual respect for each other. That is the key thing. Okay. So you're not crazy for thinking that some people are manipulative or are just making you feel a way. You're not crazy for feeling that. That's someone you don't need to be around. You don't need to adjust and try to change them. That's going to disempower you as an empath, okay? And a final note I want to make is that empowered empaths don't just survive the emotional intensity of life. They thrive by mastering their energy, setting boundaries, and using their gifts wisely. So keep on being an empath. But I want you to become an empowered empath, not a codependent one, not one that's going to be walked all over, not one that's going to be manipulated, not one where you feel like you have to heal and feel everyone else's feelings. You know, you don't have to do that. So I hope this helped. I feel like I have become an empowered empath for sure because I'm still an empath because I have to in order to do this work and to connect with you all's soul on the soul level. You know, I like to do that. You know, I like to talk about deep shit. That's me. But I feel like I'm now more of an empowered empath because I have taken the time to listen to my own intuition, taking the time to set boundaries, taking the time to actually do the work and choose wisely of who I'm going to help and how I'm going to convey my empathetic abilities, I guess you would say. So, yeah, that's all I got for this podcast episode, girlfriends. Until the next one, peace out.
Excuse me, can I please talk to you for a minute?